internet. And as I promised you, we're gonna get started with Harry Potter month. The first tag, of course, will be the ultimate Harry Potter book tag. To help me along with this, I have written out as many questions as I could find, and I will give you my Harry Potter related answers. Let's get started. Favorite book. My favorite Harry Potter book would have to be The Chamber of Secrets because it has Parseltongue in it, it has the basilisk, it has snakes. I like snakes, and it is the quintessential most Slytherin book out of all the books. So of course it's my favorite. Least favorite book, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to go with Prisoner of Azkaban. There was no Voldemort in it. I do remember asking myself that question when I was reading it as a kid, like, where's Voldemort? Like, I kept waiting for it, but there was no Voldemort, and I just remember reaching the end of that book and being super disappointed. Favorite movie, for nostalgia reasons, it's Chamber of Secrets. Once again, favorite book, translated into a movie. I just love that movie. I remember it was like the last movie you get and the last book you get before everything starts to turn really, really dark. Least favorite movie, I will go with Deathly Hallows. I want to say both parts, but if we have to be technical, part 2 of Deathly Hallows, yeah, that movie's garbage. Favorite quote, I have a couple, but I guess my favorite one comes from my favorite character, and that's the quintessential Voldemort quote when he says something along the lines of, there is no good or evil, there is only power and those too weak to seek it. Like, that has to be one of my favorite quotes because, like, I know the words to it. That's how much I think about this. It's pretty sad, I'm sorry. Favorite Weasley, the twins. I'm sorry, I'm not an evil demon witch like JK is. I don't separate them. The twins, equally, they're both awesome. Favorite female character, I think for this I'm going to have to go with Luna Lovegood. I just love how whimsical she is and how she shows you a different side to Ravenclaw, on how Ravenclaws are curious beings by nature, how it's not all about academics and studies, but wanting to find out more in the world and seeing more in the world. Plus, she's just a beautiful character. How could you not love her? Favorite male character, Tom Riddle. I'm sorry, he's my favorite character. I want to say Tom Riddle versus Voldemort because they're kind of like separate characters, like Anakin versus Darth Vader, but Tom Riddle, Voldemort, switch them up. I like them both. They're my favorites. Favorite professor. For this, I guess McGonagall. She was pretty awesome. I love how snarky she is. Like when Umbridge comes in and she's just like, bitch, sit down. You ain't interrupted my class today. Like, she's just perfect. Favorite villain. I think I already answered this. Voldemort, Tom Riddle, switch them up. I guess Voldemort is the more evil side. If I couldn't choose him, I would say Bellatrix because I think she's pretty insane. I just like how crazy she is. Then the would you rathers. Would you rather wash Snape's hair or hang out with Lockhart? Snape's hair all day. I know a few things about products. I think I could take care of that grease. Would you rather duel an elated Bellatrix or an angry Molly? Now, I would rather duel an elated Bellatrix than angry Molly because I think I would survive more. But if it was angry Bellatrix and angry Molly, I might choose angry Bellatrix because angry Bellatrix is what got the Longbottoms. And I know she wouldn't just kill me. Angry Molly, she'd just murder me. Angry Bellatrix, there's gonna be some torture. I'd rather just die quick. Then, would you rather travel by train or flying cars? A train, because I ain't about to hit that Wampa Willow tree. Would you rather kiss Lord Voldemort or give Umbridge a butter bath? I would make out with the Dark Lord before I touch that nasty woman's body. Would you rather fly Hippogriff or Fireball? Firebolt only because I could keep it and it would take less maintenance. If I had a hippogriff, I'd have to take care of it. And from the sounds of like what Sirius had to do, it seemed really difficult, especially since I would want to stay indoors all the time. That just seems too hard. I'd probably like give my hippogriff to Hagrid and just be like, I'll just come and ride him occasionally. And that would be it, so Firebolt definitely. Character that I felt different for from book to movie, there wasn't really one that I loved or hated more. I would guess Jenny Weasley. I just didn't care for her in general, but I cared for her less in the book than I did the movie, and I know so many of you are gonna get angry at me, but like in the movie, she was like a non-entity, and in the book, she was an entity. I just didn't care about her, so I guess there was more for me to not care about in the books. Book over movie, there is no movie that I would like more than the book. Various reasons, books always win. Worst missing moment from the book. Okay, there's quite a few, as all of us Harry Potter lovers know, but the one that peeves me the most is not peeves, but the missing swamp scene. Basically, everything the twins do in the Order of the Phoenix when Umbridge gets main control of Hogwarts and all of the stuff that they do. My favorite scene out of that whole book was when they created that huge swamp and everybody had to be ferried across by Filch. And when, to get rid of the swamp, they called on the charms professor, Flitwick. He pretended that he was just too stupid and simple-minded because Umbridge is stupid and prejudiced, that he couldn't do it by himself. So he made Umbridge help him, and she was like covered in swamp goo and all that stuff. And even when like he got rid of the swamp, he left a little piece of it tied off in honor of the Weasleys, and then just said, "Oh my gosh, Professor Umbridge, it's just too difficult for a little mite like me to take care of the swamp." And like that was the part where I was like, Phineas Flitwick, you are amazing. And the Weasleys, they're pure geniuses. That scene should have stayed. I would have loved to see that scene. Remake a movie, I think the one that I would want to remake the most would be the Deathly Hallows. Like I said, I disliked those so much. But it's probably because I disliked how they made the final scene between Voldemort and Harry this huge action scene. Now, I know many of you will disagree because you were like, oh, it should have been more actiony, like all of this stuff that goes on throughout these 7 books, and then it's just like a stupid little duel and it's over. But I thought that was so simple and perfect that throughout all 7 of these books, you see so much suffering, so much destruction. You hear about all of the stuff that happened before in the First Great War, and now all of the stuff that's happening in the Second Great War, and how much destruction has come under the Wizarding Worlds. And in the end, it's a simple spell and a simple duel and 1 second that ends it all. And then there's a dead body of a man that you thought would never die. And I just thought of how perfect it was, how they just went in circles and they just kind of like gave themselves a little trash talk back and forth. And then as the moment the sun came over the Great Hall and like you could see it through the ceiling and everything, they struck, and then Harry hit just a little faster, so he disarmed Voldemort just before the curse could hit him. So when this wand was flipping to come towards Harry, the spell hit Voldemort and he just fell on the floor and died, and there was a body and he didn't like disintegrate, or there wasn't some spirit that went away and was like, I'll get you apart. Like it was so simple, and I found beauty in that. And then they made it some like little trash super that they just ruined that beautiful simple moment that was so much fun. And plus they left off all the cool parts from the huge Hogwarts battle, like the giants, the house elves, all the great stuff that happened that made that book worth it in the end, made you, that all that second half stuff that like really made you be like, yes, it was worth it to go through all the information dumps. It was worth it. And then they just kind of disappointed you, and instead of putting all the action that was already there in the movie, they made some stuff up between Harry and Voldemort. As you can tell, I have very strong feelings about this. The house that I thought I was going to be in pre-Pottermore, Slytherin. The house that I was in as according to Pottermore, Slytherin. I know myself pretty well. My favorite class. So this one is a mock-up. I don't really think I would have a favorite, but if I had to choose one, I would say potions, for the simple fact that potions seems like the only class that I would be able to continue using even if I got my wand broken or taken away when I inevitably like murder a child for being and getting on my nerves before I take my OWLs. Like if anything happens where like I end up getting my wand taken away, maybe because I use magic over the summer, or maybe because I unintentionally like hurt someone because I'm gonna own a pit of snakes or something. I don't know. In the end, potion seems like the only class that I would still be able to use without the use of a wand, because as we all know, there's no frivolous wand waving in this class. The spell that I would most want to know. There's many, you know, I like, again, I would just want to know them all, but if I had to choose one, I would want to say legitimize. Now, traditionally, I don't really want mind reader talents, but if I could only have one spell, that would be it, for the simple fact that I could learn other people's secrets and learn how to get ahead. And my Slytherin nature just can't pass up that opportunity, even if traditionally I just don't care what other people are thinking all that much. If that was the only spell I could use, the only spell I was allowed to have knowledge of, to have access to, I think I would choose that one. Elsewise, I would choose Wingardium Leviosa if I could have like a second. And that's because I am pretty certain that that's how Voldemort flies, because you know he flies. You know he flies. He floats around. Like maybe he casts Wingardium Leviosa on his cape or something. Or whatever spell that is, I would also like that one. That one seems pretty cool. Character that you would like to be friends with. I think I'd choose Tonks. She seems like a really, really fun character. She seems like she'd have a good time, and she's a Hufflepuff, so she'll be extremely loyal, and she just seems like such a great friend. You know she has your back despite everything, and she loves to have little jokes and stuff. Hollows or Horcruxes? Alright, this depends. With Hollows, we have never gotten a concrete answer on whether or not Dumbledore is right or whether or not the Three Brothers legend is right. We know the Three Brothers existed. We're pretty sure that they had something to do with the Hollows, but Dumbledore always made it seem like he believed they were just really great wizard scientists and they created these things. The tales have us believe that they were gifts from death. So if you possessed all of them, you would be master of death and probably immortal in some sense, right? If Dumbledore was wrong, which he was wrong about a lot of things if we just sit down and think about it, and you are actually a master of death, and I really wanted immortality, then the Hollows definitely. But the Horcruxes, as one might remember, don't actually need you to directly kill anyone for a death to affect you for you to be able to split your soul. Like when Tom created the diary, he didn't directly or intentionally try to kill Moaning Myrtle. That happened indirectly. That was because of him. He was indirectly responsible for her death, pure accident. If something like that happened, and maybe I could use that to further my own needs to immortality, I wouldn't be so against it. Of course, there's dangers. However, Tom didn't seem to have gone crazy until he got into like 5 and 6. So I think I'd be okay if I just stuck to one Horcrux, but I'm not certain. Plus, you split your soul directly in half. So Hollows, I guess. Hollows definitely. Thing that I would change about the book. I mentioned before I didn't like Jenny Weasley. That whole 19 years later thing. Yeah, Harry never got with Jenny. That didn't happen. I'm sorry. That was the most awkward romance I had ever seen. Most awkward romance I have ever been privy to in a piece of literature. And I have read Wuthering Heights. It was just, Does anyone else remember that scene where all of a sudden Harry was in love with her and Jenny and Dean were caught behind a tapestry by Harry and Ron? And Harry describes himself as a lion roaring in his chest at the sight of Jenny with another guy. Like, No, I don't think they're right for each other. No, not a fan. No, thank you. Just cut that off. That would have never happened, okay? Never would have happened. My favorite Marauder, I guess I would have to go with Remus because he seems like the most stable one. Which is funny to say since he's a self-hating werewolf, but he seems like the Marauder most to have my back when it came to things that didn't require brute strength. Like, he would help me with my homework if I needed to. He's like the most intelligent one. I'm not really a fan of pranks, so I couldn't choose James or Sirius. And Peter is a non-entity because that little bastard would stab me in the back no matter how great a friend I was to him. So, no to him. And if I had the power to resurrect any character, which character? Fred, down-packed. That is the only death I truly mourn. You see a lot of people die in Harry Potter, a lot of important people, a lot of people that you came to care about like they were your own. But the only death I still physically mourn for, like I hurt when I remember it as if it was a real person, is Fred. And it has to do with the fact that he left behind his twin. And I just can't stand the idea that there's one twin living when the other is gone, especially when you see the friendship, the brotherhood, the twinhood, just how close those two were to each other and how they were Fred and George, Forge and Gred. Like, they were beautiful and they were so smart and they had like so many great plans. And you know they could have ruled the world. And how broken George must be after Fred's death. And now you know he'll never truly get past that. I would definitely give George back his brother. I think that is the most worthwhile resurrection that I could ever done. So that was the ultimate Harry Potter book tag. If you disagreed with any of my answers, state your opinions down below because these were mine. This is, of course, the first video of Harry Potter week. Stick around if you want to watch the other 3 that are coming up later. I will be doing one other already established Harry Potter tag and then 2 originals to wrap this up. I hope you're enjoying this idea. I really wanted to do this ever since I started this channel. I love Harry Potter and I hope you guys enjoyed this. So click all of the buttons down below. You know which ones they are. And goodbye, internet.